Welcome back to Murder Therapy with Doll Talk and Cousin Ashley.
Hi.
Yes, yes. So I know Ashley's itching to get into this because I left you all at a
She's like,
pretty
well,
gnarly part.
yeah, it was a ridiculous cliffhanger. And she was one of those where she's like, oh, we'll record soon so you don't have to wait a whole week. Guess what? It's 7 days to the day.
I know.
And I don't know
Shit
what happened.
happens.
It does happen. Super Bowl
Yeah,
was
shit happens.
priority.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I stayed up till a little past the halftime show. And then I ended up going to bed. And I did make a prediction that the Eagles was going to win the Super Bowl, in which they did.
They did.
I think
Yay.
that my husband is still having a temper tantrum in a sense over it. But when he came to bed that night, I was telling Ashley, I literally, like, I didn't even look. I didn't get my phone and look. I got up, went to the bathroom, come back to bed. He had just came to bed. And he's just laying there. I said, so, who won? And he goes, I don't want to talk about it. And he just, like, rolled over. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't happy about the Super Bowl, but...
I know. I was like, Jody, how in the world is he a Chiefs fan? Just kidding. No shame to anybody that is. And
Yeah,
he goes, it's not the Chiefs. It's Taylor Swift.
he knows we're talking about it because he's glaring at me in the
Funny.
doorway. I better watch myself. He'll cut all the lights off in the house and wears Michael Myers mask and stalk me through.
I mean, oh my god! If they didn't already have content, have you seen that guy that just randomly drives around as Michael Myers mask, and now
Oh,
his
the
son?
Michael Myers. Yes,
Yeah,
the Michael Myers of Decatur.
yes, he is the greatest, and now he's got his son out there that does it. Oh my god, it's so funny. But
I know.
Nathan can't
Well,
jock it.
he did buy a really nice Michael Myers mask in October for Halloween. So we took Cora trick or treating. We took Carson. We made Colin go, even though he's like, I'm not going trick or treating. And I'm like, yes, you are. You're still a child. You can still enjoy it. So we're all going. Nathan literally has the suit on. He has his mask. We're going through a really nice neighborhood in our town. This is where all the doctors and the attorneys live. They give the best candy. Okay? Yeah. And he literally is standing at the end of people's driveways, just watching these other kids go by with his mask on. And I literally have Cora and Carson and Colin at this table. These people is like sitting in the doorway of their garage giving out candy. And these kids come up, they're like, there's some weird dude down there. And I'm like, well, I know who that is. That's my husband. I'm like,
You
take it
claimed
off.
him.
I was, I didn't claim him to the kids. I was like, you need to stop. I was like, you're freaking people out. And
That's freaking great.
yeah,
I love that.
yes,
Scary. I
yeah.
mean, that's what it's about, though. But fun fact: we have a house where we always take Jaden. We find a bigger house neighborhood to go into, and there is a house back there, and they never pass out. They leave a big box of fortune cookies.
That.
It
That's
is great.
fantastic.
It is
Does
great.
he go? Does he get a fortune?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was it. Well, we don't go trick or treating with him
love
anymore.
that.
It's not cool.
I
So.
love that he still goes, though.
Oh, no shame, and he will go until the very end. It's a. Jaden is very competitive, as you know, but others don't. He is super competitive, and he's got to get as much candy as he can in 2 hours.
Listen,
He's terrible.
I
He
don't
loops around
care
the same cul-de-sac that hands out bigger candy, and he'll go through like 2 or 3 times. They don't even notice. It's terrible. I just admitted
I don't care if you're like 19 and you still want to go trick or treating. More power to you. I would
yeah.
rather know that these 19-year-olds are literally dressing up and getting candy than going and like hitting somebody up for free beer or whatever. Like,
Out stealing cars, egging people's
yeah.
houses. Yeah,
I
I'm here
mean,
for it.
if that's the worst that you do, I think we'll be okay.
Listen, I was so excited. This was the first year that I was in a neighborhood that actually got trick-or-treaters. So Ryan and I bought like so much candy. And we sat outside. It was nasty, by the way. Like spitting rain. My mom came over, my brother came over with my nieces, and they went out. Mom, it was wet and nasty. She couldn't make it because it was too cold. And we got like 20 trick-or-treaters, if that. I was so sad. So adults, dress up, go trick-or-treating. Come get my candy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it because when we would take the kids over to Papa's house, remember how he would go buy like the pallets of stuff and did the flea marketing?
God.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
So he would always have cleaning supplies. So on Halloween, he'd give adults cleaning stuff.
He had all kinds of candy too.
He did.
Like
He
weird
did.
stuff
And he
you bought in
always
gas
had double
stations.
bubble.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Always
Freaking
had
loved
double
it.
bubble. I know. I
Ugh.
loved it. But yeah, I love that we're talking about Halloween. But you know what's what? Well, I was trying to think a segue into going from that from candy.
Halloween
And
means scary stuff and murders, and we talk about
yeah,
murders.
but I was gonna try to go with like candy and sweetness, but
No.
we're learning that Gordon Northcott is not very sweet. He is just gross. He's Grody Gordon. That's his name.
I love that we come up with
Yes.
stupid nicknames for them all.
Yes,
Shitty Shonda,
he-
Grody Gordon.
Yeah. Grody Gordon.
Yes.
Grody Grungy Gordon is who
Ugh.
he is. And that's who we're here to discuss, okay? And I left you guys. I had a really big cliffhanger.
And what was
And I know
that?
Ashley's. Well, where we left off, okay, in case you haven't listened, we had left off at Gordon, coming home really giddy and happy. And as we know, Gordon doesn't normally show that he's happy because he's a sadistic asshole and he's evil and really
So
cruel.
evil.
So for him to be happy, something disturbing had to have happened because he doesn't have like a natural happiness. Yeah. And
Oh,
he
God.
had a severed human head in a bag and decided that it would be great to show his nephew, who he's been abusing for quite some time. Now, I just want to backtrack a little bit in case you all forgot. LAPD had received a telephone call about an illegal immigrant, and that's the whole reason they had showed up there on the chicken farm was to investigate this, okay?
Yes.
So I just want people to remember that's, and we'll touch base on that again, but that's kind of what brought us all the way into learning a little bit of the history of Gordon and how the nephew got there and so on and so forth. So, according to Sanford, when he realized that this is a severed human head, he freaked out and he he throws this bag because, I mean, can you imagine someone handing you that? And it made him like physically sick. Like he threw up in tears.
Poor babe.
To which Gordon laughed. He thought it was funny. Now, obviously, I'm sure you guys are wondering, how the hell did this head end up in the bag, right? Like, how does that happen?
Oh, I'm not wondering how it got in there.
You're not wondering?
No.
Well, we got to talk about it.
He got his hatchet out.
According to Gordon, okay, according to Gordon, hear me out, this was a self-defense act.
Oh, fuck off. Sorry. We don't drop it too often, but it comes out. That's ridiculous.
Yes, this was a self-defense act, Ashley, okay? Yeah. And I don't know the nitty-gritty details or what he claimed as to self-defense at this person who just kind of came and I don't know. But according to Gordon, he's explaining to Sanford it was a self-defense act. This was a child. Not like a small child like Walter Collins' age. We're talking like close to Sanford's age.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he tried to abduct them like he did. Remember, he tried to abduct Junior and Junior got away.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe he got brave and he took it as it would be self-defense and it's like, no, sir, that's not how self-defense works. So anywho.
A teenager, self-defense. I mean, I guess
yeah,
teenagers do some mess up stuff, so I guess that's wrong. Yeah.
So this is what would be his first victim. I mean, he's had other victims of other things, but this would be his first murder victim. Not only did he have the head with him, he also brought the body. The body was in the back of the truck.
Oh, God.
Yes. So he instructs Sanford to make a bonfire in the yard, and they're going to burn the head because without the head, they can't identify the body.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well,
Well, you got to think we're in the 20s. They didn't have the forensic science that we have now. They could
true.
do some things, but it's not like today's forensic science, okay?
It almost makes you want to
So-
look at the evolution of forensic science. Like, that would be something cool.
It really does. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd
be
cool.
really interesting.
Or do a
But yeah.
side episode about the history of forensics.
Oh, that would be really cool. I like that.
We're going to drop some
Now we're
knowledge
going down
on
a
you
whole
guys.
other
I know.
road. Yeah. Now we're going down a rabbit hole. But anywho, so he makes Sanford build this bonfire, and then he makes Sanford put the head in the bonfire.
Oh. Oh, no.
This
no.
is just the beginning. Yeah.
So he's forcing him to be an accomplice, and that's disgusting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I forgot to give a disclaimer in the beginning. So
Major.
disclaimer now. Yes, sorry. So I know, well, we left off at a severed head, and at this point, if you're following through, I think you knew that was coming up. But going forward, just so you all are aware, this is going to be the talk of child murder, child sexual abuse. This episode is going to get kind of gnarly, and it might not be for you, and if that's the case, it's okay. I'll try to give you fair warnings where you can kind of fast forward, but just an
Or leave and
FYI,
come back to
okay?
us another episode.
Absolutely, because Grody Gordon's not for everybody. He's not for me, but he's just sick. Now, the very following day, he's got this body in the back of his truck, so he takes it. He ends up at some bridge, and he just kind of pushes the headless body, out into this ditch. And it was just a few days after that this woman was walking her dog, and she discovered a headless body in a ditch. A child's body, mind you.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine how fucking petrifying that was? Especially in the 20s, because things like that didn't happen. You didn't hear about that.
Well, that says a lot about forensics, because he was so just throw it out there, like, not even worried about having to hide it, not like...
I don't understand the
confident.
thought process as to, he is very cocky.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll get into how fucking cocky he is, don't worry. But I don't understand the concept of burn the head but not the rest of the body.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that is weird.
I don't understand why he did that. I mean, we don't understand why he does half the shit that he does.
Is that going to be his murder thing? Like, most murderers... I wonder if this is true for almost all of them, where they do, like, a ritual or they have a thing.
Most serial killers,
I know they have a pattern.
Routine.
Yeah.
They do have a pattern. And that's why most of them get caught, because they get very comfortable in their pattern.
They're idiots.
If we go to... I watched a documentary, it's been years ago, and it was about in Long Island, New York, where they were finding all these remains, and it was either they found full bodies or they found torsos, and that's where the torso killer had got kind of brought into all that. But what was strange is then they started finding them in a mixture of places. Most serial killers, either if they dismember everybody, or they just toss their remains onto the side. So they felt at that point that it's possible that there was two different serial killers, and it was becoming a territorial thing, which is really disturbing if you think about it.
In Gordon's case?
No, not. I'm just throwing this out.
Oh,
as an
in that
example
case
to
that you
answer
were...
your question. Yeah, but sorry for any confusion, but it was their way of marking their territory and letting the other person know you're in my stomping grounds, and it's really disturbing. But that's how they think.
Yeah.
We're prey in their eyes.
What about trophies? Like, is that a glorified thing for movies and stuff like that?
No, that's a real thing.
Okay.
That's absolutely a real thing. Yeah,
Because, me deep in Dexter, he he's a splatter analyst, not because I don't think you're ever going to watch it, but he likes to just slice open right here, and he takes a blood sample and he puts it on a microscope slide.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you go back, look at Dahmer for an example. He had trophies. Their
He?
remains. Their remains was his
Yeah.
trophy. The skulls,
Oh yeah,
all
yeah,
that. But
yeah. Oh, you're
we'll
right.
have to do an
You're right.
episode one day about like the mind of the serial killer and like the forensic science behind that, because it's really interesting, which is why I've studied forensics. That's why I majored in forensics. So,
I'm
but
here
yeah,
for
all
it.
right. Yeah, sorry, we got down a rabbit hole, but yeah, so this woman, she's walking her dog. She finds this body. Here's the sad part about this. To this day, this person has never been identified. Ever.
What? Oh
The
my
only
god.
thing, yeah, the only thing that the coroners could come up with, and it might not even be true, is that he's possibly Mexican. So he's always been known as the decapitated Mexican. How fucking terrible is that? But it's the truth. He's known as the headless Mexican.
But at this point, you said they're not 100% sure he was Hispanic.
They're not even
Wow.
100% sure that he was Hispanic. They said that he was probably Mexican.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It is terrible.
I need somebody nowadays to go back with our cool forensics now and figure out who that was.
I know. Well, it makes me wonder because it's California. Is it somebody that may have went across the board? You know, there's so many different
To where they're not in our
scenarios.
systems, which I'm sure they still have international systems these days, but probably not back then.
Probably not. Not like what they have now, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, maybe one day they'll get an identity, but to this day, we've never linked who that was.
It's sad.
Yeah. So, of course, this is going on. Obviously, the media's like, oh my God, this, body was discovered in a ditch. So Gordon freaks out and he decides that he needs to go to LA and go visit his parents. Okay. Remember, he loves his mommy. And he's going to take Sanford with him this time because they need to run. Because that's not suspicious at all,
No.
right?
And he wouldn't just leave him alone.
Yeah, no, of course not. Of course not. Because, but at this point, I think Sanford is absolutely petrified for his life.
Yeah.
Because all that had been happening. And then he brings home this fuckery. So he's probably like,
God.
that could be me. Yeah. So what do you think that Gordon did when he visited his parents?
I'm gonna
If you could take one guess.
Kidnapped a kid?
No.
Oh.
He told his parents everything he did with that body.
No, he did not.
Yes,
What?
he did.
What?
Yes. Yes, he did. He sure did.
Oh my.
I know. Yes. But he also made sure to tell them that it was self-defense. Okay? It was totally self-defense.
But you didn't take it to authorities being self-defense? Like, no. What did his parents say?
Every time I think about that when him telling his mom, what goes through my mind is the confession killer. He claimed, what's their names? The big people from New York. He killed his wife and then he killed his neighbor out of self-defense, but he dismembered his neighbor. And it's like, who dismembers people out of self-defense? I can't say that would be in my mind. Like, I'd be calling authorities and be like, oh my God.
Panicked.
I just killed somebody out of self-defense.
If it's not in your nature and you did it in self-defense, you would have been panicked. You would have called. You would have, no.
So I'm just trying to figure out in what aspect of self-defense was he like, I need to take this head and I'm going to take the body too because I don't need it to be discovered. What? Like, yeah, but
Okay.
He has told his parents it's self-defense. His mother gets up and she hugs him and she said, Gordon, you didn't do anything wrong. You had
What?
to protect yourself. I'm glad that you're alive. Meanwhile,
Oh my God. Slap that.
Sanford is sitting there watching all of this play out, and he's thinking, great, my uncle is actively abusing me. And I just watched my grandmother hug him and praise him for what he did.
For murdering, let alone sexually assaulting and brutally beating a
Yeah.
child,
Of
let
course,
alone his nephew.
at this time, she doesn't know this because obviously Sanford can't tell her, especially now that he's just watched him like bust in mom's house. He's like, Mom, I killed somebody. It was self defense, and then I cut their head off and I burn it and I threw their,
No.
body. And yeah. And she's like, Aw, let me hug you and make it all better because that makes perfectly good sense, right? I
Sounds
know.
like somebody was coddled growing up.
Yes, we call that enabling.
Yeah.
Yes. So they end up returning, and a month later, which is March 10th, which is the very day that Walter Collins disappeared.
It's my dad's
Okay.
birthday.
Um, was that is Uncle Kenny's birthday on March 10th?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, that was the day that Walter Collins went and disappeared. That's the day that he was going to the movies, remember?
No.
And he didn't come home. So now
Oh,
I
and then
want to reiterate
a
something.
strange kid just claimed to be him. Let's remember that. Refresher for you guys.
Yes. Oh, yeah. In case you forgot, there was that craziness too, like which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But you know, here's the kicker to all of this, okay? I just want to say it's believed, most people 100% as like Gordon Northcott is absolutely without a doubt responsible for Walter Collins' disappearance. With no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But it's not ever been solved. Okay? That aspect
Wow.
has not been solved. But we're going to dive into it and that will make more sense. So, before Gordon Northcott built the chicken ranch, he had a part-time job in LA. Remember, Walter Collins and Christine Collins, his mother, lived in LA. Okay?
Okay.
This part-time job was at a grocery store that just so happened to be in the exact same neighborhood that Walter Collins was growing up in. There's a
Oh.
really good chance, I imagine, that Christine shopped at that grocery store
Mm-hmm.
where Gordon saw Walter, to which we know that Gordon has a physical attraction to little boys. Walter fit that profile for Gordon's sadistic wants to a T.
I wonder what he strived for. Like, you know, we all know that everybody, like, if they're attracted to somebody, they have a type. Did he like
Well, his type, unfortunately, is frowned upon in society, and he likes
what?
little boys. But
Which that's terrible. And yeah, that is a type. But like,
yes,
did he have like an ethnicity he liked, like height?
I don't think
Any?
so because if you look,
All of them are across the board.
the I just think it. I just think, as sick as this sounds, it was just small children. That's
Period.
the
Oh, that's
reality of it.
disgusting.
Yeah, but we don't know for certain if that's the case. I just would say, if I had to guess, it was very much likely that at some point he had crossed paths with Walter at that grocery store. And if I had to guess, based upon what we've learned about Gordon, Gordon was being the fucking creep that he is, and he probably had been stalking Walter for quite some time.
Hmm.
So it's believed, this is just a theory, that when Walter was going to the movies, that Gordon seen him and picked him up, and he probably trusted him because he knew him from the grocery store. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's crazy.
Sanford reported that the day that he brought Walter there, he immediately threw him in the chicken coop and locked him in there. And immediately, trigger warning, Just so you're aware, sexually assaulted Walter the moment he got him there.
Mm.
Sanford was inside cooking dinner because remember, he made Sanford do everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. And after all that was done, he said that Gordon came in the house and acted like the most happy, cheerful person ever
Excuse
and
me.
sat there and ate a meal like nothing had happened.
You are like legitly the word statistic fuck is perfect
He,
for him. Like the fact that
he
you can go about
is.
your day and just completely murder a kid, go wash your hands, sit down and eat is just ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, he acted like everything was fine. And here's the thing. So Sanford reported to police that Walter Collins was one of many boys that was brought on the chicken ranch. One of
So he admitted
many.
it.
Oh, Sanford is actively telling police all of
Okay.
this because when they had showed up, remember, the police had been there for 2 hours and he was acting very fidgety. He was acting very nervous, and they're like, "Are
Mm.
you okay?" And that's, remember, he asked them, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Can I trust you?" So this is his story as we're telling it to police.
Okay.
He's actively explaining all of this to them. So Sanford, of course, he was never allowed to sleep in a bed. He had to sleep on the couch. Because, God forbid that Gordon show any kindness to him whatsoever. He's awful. He said that that night, that first night that Walter was there, he could hear him screaming and crying all night long.
Oh my god.
And he wanted to help him,
How
but
torturous for either one.
he knew if he did, he would, he knows what Gordon's capable of. Gordon has showed him numerous times. And remember, he always said, if you ever tell anybody, I will kill you. And he has proven that he will kill somebody. Like he delivered.
Yeah.
So he's scared. It's a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. Uh
Do what you can to survive. That's the goal.
yes.
Yeah.
So over weeks, we're talking weeks, he kept Walter as a captive in that chicken coop and was literally pulling some of his abuse away from Sanford and putting that on Walter. Because
Oh.
Walter is unfortunately more of this age that he's attracted to, Sanford's growing. He doesn't want someone older,
Yeah. He's.
which is so disgusting. So there's a day that he's in the chicken coop doing god awful things to Walter when they get a surprise visit by Gordon's parents. They want to surprise Gordon,
Come see
right?
what I'm doing, Mom.
I know, because you'll be so proud I'm a pedophile, Mom.
Take a picture, put it
Yeah.
on the fridge.
So, and Sanford knows. Sanford knows completely what's going on in the chicken coop. He's
Yeah.
very much aware. So he's out in the yard, I don't know, doing work or whatever, because that's what he was for. He was basically Gordon's slave in all aspects. So his mom gets out of the vehicle and she's like, "Well, where's Gordon?" In Sanford's mind, he's thinking, this is my chance. This is my chance to show my grandmother what a fucking sadistic human being
Yeah.
Uncle Gordon is. So he just points at the chicken coop, to which she
He's in
walks
there.
over and yeah, he's over there. You're about to see what your son does. So she goes in, walks in the
Oh
moment
my god.
when he's in there, and you and I both know that he's doing god awful things, and she screams. So of course they leave Walter in the chicken coop, and they're all in the house, and she is like giving him the rundown in the kitchen to the point he's in tears. Aw.
Oh my
Yeah, and
god. No.
she just discovered her son abusing a child, mind you,
Yeah.
okay? She's livid. So, of course, what does Gordon do? Gordon's like, "I'm so sorry, Mom. We can return him. I'll take him back to his family and I'll tell them I'm sorry and all of this, to which all of a
Stop.
sudden,
We
I
can
swear to
return him.
God, yeah, like it's a dog that you got. Yeah. Mind you, this is a child. And Louise is, it's like something in her mind changed. And she's like, well, you have to promise me you're never going to do this ever again. I know the look on your face. And to which
I
she's like,
want to beat his mother. Oh my god.
I do too.
Oh my god.
Too.
Okay.
He's like, I promise, Mom, I won't abduct little boys and molest them and keep them captive in my chicken coop anymore.
This isn't
Yeah.
like, oh, you caught him masturbating as a teenager. Oops. Like,
Mhm.
come on. Oh my god. What a
Yeah.
sick mom. What a sick individual, period, that you just turn a blind cheek.
Now, I want to say before I say this part, okay, that I have always said if my children did anything where it involved them taking a human life, and God forbid, and I hope that never happens, nor do I think that that will, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's also safe to say that every mother, regardless of like John Wayne Gacy's mother or Ted Bundy's mother, I'm sure that
Yeah.
they all probably felt that way about them, although they all showed weird signs growing up. Anywho, what I'm getting at is I will love them no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I will take phone calls every day. I will go and visit them, and I will gladly put money on their books. But I'll be damned if I'm going to coddle the fucking behavior and make like that's okay, because
Yeah.
it's not okay.
I'll
I will
love
love
you
them till I take my
contained.
last breath.
Yep. Love you
Absolutely.
contained.
But I will not, absolutely will not ever excuse bad behavior.
Nope.
100%. Unfortunately, Louise does not live by that standard, okay? She
God,
wants
I
to protect
can't.
her child under all costs. So she wants Gordon to promise to not be a pedophile anymore. Um, so she's like, well, if you can promise me this, that's fine. But I don't know how I feel about you returning the boy.
What?
Mm-hmm. What do you think that Louise means by that?
To kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
And Sanford's there, and
Nope.
again, Sanford's like,
You're an accomplice.
I'm, I'm stuck. Like, can you imagine? He's stuck. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So Louise's plan, okay,
Can we
and she
just
pondered
say
about this.
Can we just say that at that point, with her even hinting and without directly saying, people who are the brain behind the operation but not the hands that do it, it's still a murder charge. So
Oh, absolutely.
the mom is guilty of murder if she was seriously suggesting that.
Well, she did suggest it.
Mm.
And unfortunately, the sadistic plan went into fruition, um, because her, in her mind, because Sanford's there.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't know that Sanford has been a victim to Gordon, for quite some time. Granted, that's her grandson, but in her mind, she has to protect Gordon, and we have to hide this sadistic secret from everyone. Even though, if you remember, Gordon almost had charges pressed on him for sexually abusing his best friend's little brother. And they know
They let it
that.
walk, yeah. Well, that makes me wonder because obviously this little boy, Walter, is not tied to her. She's worried about her own kin. If she were to know that it was also happening to her grandkid, would she have acted the same?
I don't I don't
Or
think
would he be a monster?
I don't think he would have been a monster in her eyes.
Ugh.
Well, I think we're going to learn very quickly that the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Mm.
And this is kind of when genetics, as well as mother versus nature both kind of kick into play.
Okay.
You got the genetic aspect as well as the upbringing, and this is what it's created. Because I feel like Louise definitely has some narcissistic sociopath traits. We're
Mm,
seeing that come to fruition right now.
that's
You know,
disgusting.
I feel like if I would have went and told my mom, oh my God, I killed this person out of self-defense, first of all, my mom would have been like, well, that was not self-defense. I don't know what you done. But my mom would have also called authorities. Like, we need to get help.
We need to
Like, that's the
go.
mother loving.
We need to go to the
Right.
police station and tell them what happened. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what Louise has presented, okay, this is the game plan because Sanford's there. She's going to protect Gordon at all costs, no matter what that entails. So, in order to protect and ensure that the secret remains a secret, they all three will participate in killing Walter.
What?
Yes,
Wow.
because if somebody goes to the police, they all go down. I know. I know. So Sanford is getting forced and sucked into this even more. And again, that's why I'm like, I don't know if she knew all that. Surely to God, she had to know at this point that Sanford had been abused. But it's very evident she didn't care. Because all that matters is Gordon safe?
You
As
think
long as
she
we keep
knew?
Gordon safe. I think she did. You can't tell me that he has this extensive history of pedophilia and he has his nephew shacked up there and you just saw that didn't go
Oh,
through your
yeah.
mind. No ma'am, no
Yeah,
ma'am,
you're
you
right.
knew, she knew. I
Yeah.
know she knew, but it didn't matter. Sanford didn't matter to her. It was protecting Gordon. So
Jesus.
trigger warning, okay, we're about to get really dark. So at this point they're going to go to the chicken coop, okay, all three of them. Walter was asleep and Gordon got an axe and he looked at his mother, he looked at Sanford, and he took a blow right to Walter's head.
What the? This
Mm-hmm.
is the most
Then,
mind blowing case. Oh my god.
well, uh, now remember, Louis said they all have to participate. So the axe then they gave it to Sanford and made Sanford do it, and then Louise was the one that finished in the
I
chicken coop.
wow. Holy cow, I cannot. So like it became a whole family affair. That's
It did. It did.
mm,
So then what they did, Sanford was ordered to dig a grave in the yard and bury Walter in that grave. They made Sanford do it.
this poor
While,
boy.
I know, while Mommy Dearest, Kay, and Grody Gordon decide that they're going to go have, I guess, a celebration dinner because he's not going to be a pedophile anymore. He promised. He made a promise.
All right, believe it, Kathy Bates.
Yeah, so he made this promise to his mom, and she goes back to LA because she's had such a great visit. They did so much on this visit, okay?
It was eventful.
And it was eventful. And she was so proud of her
It
son,
was a
sick
bloody
bitch.
good time.
It was
But
fucking assholes. Yes.
sorry, that's
Of
not funny.
course. Do you think that Gordon kept his promise of not being a pervert?
No.
No, of course not. So,
We
two
all
months
tell our
later,
mom what they want to hear so we can continue on.
I may have told my mom some things that she wanted to hear, but I can't say it was so I could go abduct children and kill them in a chicken
It
coop.
definitely it definitely was not
definitely
that.
it definitely was not
I
that.
won't hit my
But
sibling again. You
yeah,
know,
and then I totally decked the fuck out of Steve. Like,
listen. He needed he needed he needed it. I love you, Steve.
yes. So 2 months after that, he couldn't even wait that long. 2 months, Ash. Those cravings are coming in again, right? And what do you know? He didn't get lucky with just one person. He got lucky with two. Do you
Oh,
remember the two boys that we talked about in the first episode? The brothers? Do you
no.
remember the two brothers? Remember the parents reported the two brothers missing? And but what was weird is they got letters. Do you remember that?
I don't. Oh God, there's so many kids.
You
It's all
don't
just
remember
running.
it?
No, because I remember she got letters from the one boy that wasn't her real son. I don't remember the
Well,
brothers.
right. So you're thinking of Christine Collins. After we talked
Yes,
about Christine Collins, we talked about the two brothers that had went missing.
yes,
Their
yes, yes,
parents
yes.
had got those strange letters and it was like, I want to be famous.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah.
Because yes. Now, mind you, I forgot to mention, it was just a few days after Walter was buried that the media started posting about Walter's disappearance. Remember, because LAPD was very much fixated, not fixated, they were taking their time, but the media, you remember, they were on to LAPD. So they
Mm-hmm.
started blasting it in the media. And so that was like literally within days after they had buried Walter. Okay.
Was he stalking his victims?
He would drive neighborhoods and
Okay,
just
because I
because
was wondering, I was like, how
he's a
the
creep.
fuck does he get their addresses to send these weird letters to all the parents?
Well, we're gonna talk about the letter. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna talk. Yeah. So it's believed that he lured the two boys into his vehicle, telling them, "Hey, I have this chicken ranch. I want you to come check out my chickens and all this." And of course, they were like, "Okay, that's great," and not knowing that they were going to be captive. So the Winslow brothers actually came from a wealthy family. Okay,
Mm-mm-mm. You did yourself
and
there.
which well, it really made Gordon a little nervous. But I think the fact that the papers were publishing about how LAPD was so corrupt and not putting focus on Christine's, missing son, and then all that bullshit about the one boy and all that. I think that that probably contributed to his nervousness. That oh no, I might get caught for being the pervert that I am. So he decides, okay, that he's going to make them write letters. So he took them into his kitchen and forced them to write those letters and then locked them back into the coop.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And then, he that wasn't enough. I think he held them hostage and unfortunately did the shady shit that he always does. That wasn't enough and he decides, it's time to get rid of them. So, trigger warning, we're about to get a little dark again, okay? So, he ends up grabbing Sanford because Sanford has to be a part of this. And Sanford's like, I don't want to be a part of this at all. And he literally makes Sanford do the first blows to one of the Winslow brothers because he said, I went first last time. You have to do it. And it's like, you motherfucker, he doesn't want to be a part of this at all.
I don't
Uh,
understand why he thinks that. I mean, obviously the kid's scared enough that he's not going to talk. Why are you forcing him to be a part of it?
because he's just a really sick person. And I think that he thrived off of that control because I think deep down he knew that it scared Sanford, that Sanford was bothered by it,
He
and
got
obviously
enjoyment
he
out of it.
enjoys inflicting pain. So, I mean, I can't think of anything worse, and I don't mean this derogatory. Sexual assault's terrible, domestic violence of any kind, but to force someone to inflict pain on another helpless human being, a child, mind you.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything
No,
worse.
no, no. Let
I
alone
can't.
taking the
That's
life. Because you don't know what that first
yeah.
blow is going to do. That's
Well,
disgusting.
unfortunately, so Sanford takes. You thought the first Walter was bad. This is worse. So he makes Sanford do the first one. He goes and does the second one. Here's the kicker: they're both still alive. He didn't go at the head this time. So he drags them out of the chicken coop, makes Sanford dig two graves, and he made Sanford bury them both alive.
Oh, shit.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. I'm getting
I mean,
goosebumps. It's ugh.
he's he's awful. Like I think he makes Dahmer look like a saint.
It's so funny you say that because like through this episode at least, because we're getting into the murders, I think he's the worst one we've covered, to be truthfully honest.
He's he's awful.
Not that I
I
don't
mean, he
value an adult life or any type of life less, but I mean the amount of kids.
but
Ugh.
it's like he levels it up more and more each time to
Yeah.
a like deeper level of evil.
He
You
gets
know what
more
I
and more
mean? Like,
fucked up each kill.
yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, we know that Gordon has killed the one guy that's not identified, Walter Collins, and now he's killed two brothers.
Yeah.
That's four people. Okay. He is defined as a serial killer at
Yep.
this point.
So what is the limit?
So I think once you kill more than two people, if it's a two or more, you're a serial killer at that point.
I why do I want to say it's 4? They touch base on that, and I'm gonna reference this again. I'm so sorry because it's like
It's okay.
I'm obsessively binging this new Dexter stuff. So, because there's a new branch off of it, but the new one is the the new season or branch off of it is young Dexter as he's coming into finding his routine, not getting caught. He's changing things up and he's coming into learning how to do it all. And you can hear his thoughts are spoken out loud in the show. It's narrated. And he says, I swear he said, that would be my 4th kill. I'm now officially a serial killer. I feel like it's 4.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe. I was
Yeah.
thinking anytime you exceed one, you would be clarified. But
I would think
don't
two.
know.
I would think two. I would think 2 would be the limit, but I think it. I want to
Yeah.
say it's 4. If we're wrong, please
We'll have
tell
to
us.
look.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I don't want to Google that, you guys, because I feel like that might raise some red flags if somebody looks at my.
if I haven't, well, I'm sure considering all the research I do that I'm probably flagged. But anyhow.
You're premeditated.
I'm under the premeditated, yeah. So obviously Gordon's getting a little cocky. Okay. That's
Pun
4
intended.
kills. Yeah. No pun intended. Yeah.
Being in
so
the chicken coop.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, he's such a sick fuck. So, Gordon's gonna amp it up even more because yeah, that's what we do. So what does Gordon do next? He decides he's going to volunteer at a charity
Oh.
because he's such a good person.
So he's done with the brothers. They were buried alive. That's it.
Yeah.
They
Oh
died.
yeah, he's
Okay.
done with them.
Okay.
They died. They were buried alive.
Okay.
I know it's awful.
Off
So
to charity.
he decides he's going to get this little job thing at
He's gonna
this
try
charity.
to reverse his karma.
Right. Well, there's always an ulterior motive for him. Well, the idea for him is I can target someone more vulnerable, like the homeless population or the poor or
Ew.
something. Yes. Yeah. He's not being a good person.
No.
Yeah, he's not a good person at all. So he ends up meeting this family, a husband, a wife, who have 2 children, okay? And he's telling them about the chicken ranch, and he decides, this is a good idea. So he hires mom and dad, and he even tells them that they can live there. They can live on the chicken ranch, yes. So he gives mom and dad a job to help
Chris.
on the chicken ranch, and the kids are playing in the yard and they're having a good time.
Oh.
And although you and I would think if somebody would genuinely, to give you a job and, you can have room and board. And
He
I'm gonna help you get on
literally
your feet.
brought them to him. Oh my God.
Yes. And, we would think that that's beautiful, except Gordon's in the background being the fucking creep that he fucking is. And he's like grinning ear to ear because he's thinking, I can't wait to kill these people later. He's going to kill the whole family. That's what he's planning. So he goes up to Sanford as if Sanford's also partaking in this sadistic plan.
Like
And
they're
he's like,
buddies.
yeah, like they're
Yeah.
buddies. And he's like,
Listen,
I
this is
don't
my
even
plan.
like you. Yeah, that's literally, he's, you can't make this shit up. And this is when Sanford kind of talks back to Gordon for the first time. And he goes, I don't think that this is a good idea.
Get it. Okay.
He's like, because the charity's going to recognize that these people go missing and it's going to get linked back to you. And Gordon is pissed because how dare Sanford talk back to him? How
Oh.
dare you rain on my fun? Like, how
Despite
dare
the
you?
fact that I can't stand your sick ass, I just tried to help you.
Well,
But
I
okay.
think he was more so looking out for the family. I think
Oh,
he
he
was trying to
definitely.
save
Oh,
this
true.
family.
True,
Oh,
true, true.
100%.
Yeah, but at the same
I don't
time,
think
it
he
helps
really
him.
cared about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, let's not do that. Okay. And first of all, there's no we to this. This is all you. Okay. Like, I did not volunteer for any of this. If you don't recall, I didn't even want to come here to begin with. You forced me and you've beat me and assaulted me on a daily basis. Like, I have no pull in this. I don't want any of this.
His mom's never
So,
tried to come down
Gordon,
and see him.
well, remember he had his nephew call his mom and make like
Right.
everything was okay, and he had him write letters, remember? He was having him write letters
But
to
you
his
never
mom
want to
about
physically
how
go see your kid?
great things are. Well, I think money, you got to think 20s and a
Yeah.
train ride all the way from Canada to the United States was going to be
True.
astronomical.
True.
So he takes Sanford and locks him up in the chicken coop because he's really mad that how dare him, sass him and rain on his fun.
How
And
dare
he's
you?
like, you're going to sleep here tonight. And honestly, I probably would have been like, thank God I can sleep in the chicken coop and be away from you. Thank you. Thank you.
Better than the
sir.
couch
But-
near you.
Yeah. But I guess something clicked in Gordon's mind that, you know what? It's probably not a good idea for me to kill this whole family. So he fired the parents and let them go back to the shelter.
Oh.
Which is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the time they were probably like, thanks, Dick, for taking us from our shelter
Right.
and bringing us out here in the middle of nowhere. But it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Like,
they have no idea what they just escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Black, who was a 15-year-old, I don't know how Gordon came across him, but he was zoned in. Granted, 15 is a little old for Gordon, but there was something about him. I've often wondered if perhaps he didn't resemble his first victim, his friend's brother. And that's why, because remember, when he got caught for being a pedophile, he treated it like a breakup.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
That's just my theory. I could be completely wrong. So he decides that he wants to get to know this boy's family. And he's going to approach it in the same aspect he did with the original friend forever ago. And he's going to get to know the family and be liked, and then he's going to molest this boy. That's his game plan. But we got to remember that's got to take time, right? That takes some planning, and it's not going to happen overnight. That just shows how cocky he is.
Yeah.
Like, and
gross.
how narcissistic he is. He's so disgusting. Like, he's always actively, that's all he does, is plan, how can I destroy your life?
Good
How
God.
can I, yes, yeah, that's all this man plans. All right. So, August of 1928, Jessie Clark, which is Sanford's sister,
Jesse, okay.
she says that she had this intuition that something wasn't right.
Yeah, and you said she's tried to get him out before.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what we're about to talk about when she tried to get him out.
Oh,
so,
sweet.
yeah, she decides that she's unexpectedly going to pay a visit to the Northcott farm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, now she's a teenager. Obviously, she didn't have a lot of money, and she said I would have went sooner, especially if I knew this. So she had saved up every dime that she had to go check on Sanford. And she said she knew while she was there that something wasn't right. Because Gordon, okay, he all of a sudden is cooking meals for Sanford. Well, he never did that before. Sanford was lucky if he could eat, and he's out there helping do some of the work. And he's just so glad that his niece came to visit because he's such a fun uncle.
Mm.
And everything's fine. But the bizarre part is he would not allow Jesse and Sanford to be in a room alone together. I wonder why.
Yeah, sounds legit.
So she also talks about how she would look at Sanford and he wouldn't make eye contact. And she's like, I knew at that moment that something was not right with my brother.
Well, he's beat him
She
down
said
mentally. He's ashamed. He's
mentally, physically,
yeah.
sexually.
He's embarrassed. Like yeah.
Yeah. So one night, I don't know how long she stayed. I think it was for a little while though, for at least over a week.
Oh wow.
But Gordon had fell asleep and Sanford snuck Jesse out of the house and
Oh.
he told her everything.
Oh shit.
Everything about all the abuse that he had been enduring, about the murders that had happened. I mean, he laid it all out.
Everything.
And she was like, I am going to get you out of here.
Oh.
Now, obviously, in the back of her mind, her uncle is a murderer. She can't immediately go report this because in her mind, he's going to know that Sanford told her and he could kill Sanford.
Yep.
So it was like, I have to do something strategic.
She has to tread lightly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she got back to Canada, called authorities, didn't disclose who she was, and she said, I'm calling to report an illegal immigrant in the United States that's being forced to do labor, which was really smart on her part. And she wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Sanford's not legal. He's being held captive against his will.
I mean, and it gets him back. Like, what are they going to do when they catch him? Deport him back to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets to go home.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
At this point, she, in her mind, it's, I got to get my brother here. Once we get him here, we'll deal with the rest of that later.
Yeah.
That it's get Sanford out. And I respect it. So, which brings us back to our timeline as to where the police are there responding to the illegal immigrant call.
Yes.
So they've just been told all of this. They know that Gordon is an active serial killer and he has fled. They have to find him. So they go, they're actively looking for Gordon.
Am I jumping? Are we gonna jump back to like what happened when they showed? Like, how did he flee? How did he know they were coming for him?
He saw them coming down the road.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He knew. No, you're good. And he fled. And he was like, "You stall them, or I'll kill you.
That's
I'll
right.
hide in a tree, and I'll kill you." And I'm sure he really thought that. I'm sure, without a doubt, he really did think that his uncle was going to kill him. So, obviously, Sanford has also confessed to partaking in murders. So they did apprehend him and take him back to the station. Yes. Now, when he was at the police station and they were interrogating him, they were treating him like a criminal. And one of the police chiefs walked in and he was livid. Because remember, he had been working like 13-hour days out in the hot sun. He was malnourished as hell. He has endured much abuse, physically, emotionally. He's pitiful. This police chief was pissed. And he's like, he needs to go to the hospital immediately.
Thank you.
Immediately. To which they did discover that he had permanent injuries that was induced from sexual assault.
Mm-hmm. And physical abuse. You leave scars that people can see, literally. Internally with machines, externally. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Gordon's fled. They're actively looking for him. Okay. He gets Sanford's treated at the hospital, and the police is like, we need you, if you can, to take us back to the ranch and show us where these bodies are because you said that
Ugh,
Gordon had you bury them. And he agreed to do that.
what
He
trauma.
did. I know. So they go back to the ranch, okay, and he shows them and they dig. But what was bizarre is police, remember he said that they kind of just threw them in graves,
Hmm.
right? They found bone fragments, not full bodies. Yeah. So of course they then started questioning Sanford's story a little bit, and Sanford's like, no, he made me put the full body in there.
I
Okay.
did it.
They did. Yes, I remember. This is that's not how it was.
Wow.
The coroner discovered that there was lime placed on them. So they believe, we don't know how true this is that after Sanford buried those, he got Gordon got nervous, so he dug them up and placed lime on them, which resulted in it eating
Decomposition.
away the flesh.
Yeah.
Right. Decomposition, the bone fragments. I'm wondering if maybe he didn't dismember at that point too, as a means to try to hide things away. So it's very difficult to identify bodies at this point because there's nothing there. It's
Hmm.
literally bone fragments. Now they did find some clothing that they believe they've never said for sure. Um, could have potentially been some of Walter Collins. They're not entirely sure. They did identify the Winslow brothers, though. That they were able to tie clothing that was there to the Winslow brothers,
You don't
but
think he
not for
was
Walter.
a necro, do you? Like unburied them and
No,
okay.
it
Good.
wouldn't
Good.
surprise me at this point. He's so disgusting. At this point, I wouldn't put anything past Gordon Northcott. He's a sick fuck. So they also did discover, to line up with Sanford's story, the chicken coop was covered in blood.
He didn't even clean it
Absolutely.
up.
No. No, that's how cocky he was. And the axe
Jesus.
that he used, it also
Still
was
in there.
covered in blood. Yeah. And
What an
so
idiot.
of course now it did have chicken blood on it, we'll give him that, but it also had human blood. He didn't clean it
Jesus.
up at all. But he was worried about like putting lime on their bodies. Yeah, he's ridiculous.
I'm gonna
So,
unbury them to do that, but an easy task of just bleaching out some blood. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Police did locate Gordon.
Yes.
And Louise. Louise was with him because
Oh,
remember she's going to protect her
mommy's
son by
gonna
all
save the
costs.
day.
Sadistic mommy dearest is going to save the day. Yeah, they were boarding a train that was in Canada. They had fled the country.
Mommy
'Cause he
probably
knew.
made the plan.
Oh, I'm sure she did. She
Listen,
probably
honey,
paid
this
for
is
the
what we're
ticket too.
gonna do. We're gonna buy.
If you're really good, I'll buy you a Happy Meal. Yeah, like yes. So
Sorry.
they were placed in holding cells in Canada because they've got to be extradited back to the United States. Okay, they are wanted fugitives,
Oh, so they found them in Canada.
and when they found them in Canada, so Louise confessed while she was in Canada to Walter's murder. She sang like a canary.
Wow.
Meanwhile, next door, Gordon confessed to 5 murders. Where this other victim came from is beyond me. Because we have no
Yeah,
record
we
of
said
that.
4. Yeah.
But he confessed to 5.
Oh.
Yes. Now, they get them back to the United States, and what do you know? They both recanted their confessions.
Can
They're
you,
such...
can you do that?
Well, they did because their confessions was in Canada and they weren't recorded.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So it couldn't be used in court. So they recanted. They're innocent. Okay. So they both pled not guilty, right? Now, this shows what a cocky fucker he really is. He was his own attorney. He
Wow.
represented himself because all the other attorneys that came and met with him, they were stupid, according to him.
Who else did that?
Yes. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. And he was a cocky
he was like-
motherfucker, okay?
I feel like Ted Bundy probably did a little bit of a better job, no offense, to
Well, he
represent
went to
himself than what
yeah,
Gordon
he went to
Northcott
school for that
did.
shit. So yeah, but
Gordon
Lord,
Northcott's just he is an antisocial to a fucking T. And he is like, I'm better than all that, so this is what I need.
I
Because
run a
I have no
chicken
sympathy
farm.
for
I
you.
think I could run my
But
own
I
case.
really didn't run a chicken farm. I made my nephew Sanford, who I never fed or watered, do it, and so I could molest him on a daily basis in the chicken coop. That's really what it
I'm
was.
just
But
saying, you're
anywho,
smart enough to freaking be your own lawyer, but that's what you chose to do with your time. Okay.
yeah. So he was found guilty for 3 of the 4 murders.
What?
Remember, Walter Collins has never been solved. Although we have
Oh,
all this
yeah,
because they couldn't identify, so they couldn't really tie him to that.
yeah.
That's not over yet, though.
Okay, good.
Uh, yeah.
I was like, they
Well,
said
it's not
his
good, but
clothing. I mean, you can't say murder on clothing, but at least he was there.
yeah. But what's bizarre is Louise reconfessed again.
Oh,
Like she recanted. Yeah, she reconfessed again to killing Walter. And they gave her time for that. Now, she was up for the death penalty, but the judge showed sympathy because she was a woman. And I'm like, she's a sadistic person.
oh yeah.
You should have gave her the death penalty. She only served 14 years, but she did die 2 years after that, so she didn't get to live like a really luxurious life, which kind of makes me happy. Now, Gordon was given the death penalty, as he should, and
Yeah.
you're going to love this, okay? Again, this shows, this is what narcissists act like, okay? Um, he decides he's going to reach out to Christine Collins. Mm-hmm. He did. He legitimately reached out to Christine and
That's wow.
he tells her, if you come meet me in prison, I will confess to you to what I did to Walter. And she did because she wants closure.
I
And
understand why she did, but what was his motive?
well, you're about to learn what his motive was.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She came out there and he just stared at her and wouldn't say a fucking thing.
Wow.
Because he knew that this woman was still grieving and still hoping that her son was alive. And he literally did that to watch her beg. Yeah. Fuck you, Gordon
That's a
Northcott.
whole
I
nother
hope
level.
that you are having a pineapple shoved up your ass every fucking day from Satan. Like there is not enough torture
A
for what you
hurting,
did.
grieving. God, oh my God, that's so disgusting. What if somebody did that to his mother? Obviously, they have a weird relationship.
Know that he would care. Maybe he would. I don't know. The thing about sociopaths, what people don't understand is they lack empathy. They love in a really weird, unexplainable way that we will never understand. They only care about themselves. So that was his last means of inflicting pain on somebody. So he chose her. He chose her.
Fucking gross, because you didn't hurt her enough?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and she did.
That really does
I mean,
put
she
him
was
over the top.
I don't know what she did, but I hope to God that they let her, like, just fucking attack him. They should have let her stab his eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's awful. Yep. So, the day he was executed.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I'm breaking shit, yeah. I forgot these move on their own.
That he was executed before he was going to be hung, because this is when they hung them. He looked at one of the guards. They still hung
people in the 20s? Yeah, I guess so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said, "Is it going to hurt?" And they're like, I don't know. I can't say I've ever been hung before. I hope that they really looked at him and was like, yeah, it's going to hurt a lot. I hope that when he had to go to the news, that he was in the most, like, terrified phase ever. I really do.
The audacity of him to ask that question. Like,
he did. He also wanted to be blindfolded so he didn't see the news. And I'm like, did you
Wow.
blindfold your victims before you bludgeoned them to death? Did you do that? Did you blindfold those two boys before you buried them alive?
So he couldn't see the news
No.
crews reporting on it? Is that?
News, like the news, what was happening.
Oh, okay.
He didn't want to see that.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
let's be real. I mean, governmentally, we can't make the death penalty any way not quick and painful. Like, I guess the electric chair would have been really painful. And let's be honest, hanging by a noose, you break your spinal cord. So, and you're still kind of alive because you're alive until your brain runs out of oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, do you know how many nerves run through your spine?
I know.
But I still don't feel like it was enough. I don't like that. I'm terrible, but I don't think it's enough.
I hope he suffered.
Mm.
I really do. I hope he suffered every way that he possibly could. And I hope he's still suffering in the afterlife. I really do.
Yeah.
I genuinely mean that. Because he's a fucking terrible human being.
Yeah.
Terrible. He ruined so many people's lives. And the fact that you're that narcissistic that you can call a grieving mother and be like, come visit me.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I did to
disgusting.
your little boy. And you just look at her for your sick enjoyment. That shows you're a whole different level of evil that the world will never understand. The greatest psychologist in the world would never be able to break the case of Gordon Northcott, ever. But he was executed October the 2nd, 1930. Now, the aftermath of this is Wineville, California. They changed their name because this case has always been affiliated as the Chicken Coop murders or Wineville murders, and they don't want to be associated with that at all.
Either.
I don't know what they changed it to, but yes, they did change it. The chicken ranch was destroyed, as it should be. I don't know if anything's there on that property. I'm not sure. Now, Sanford was found not guilty by the court.
Oh, good.
He was found not guilty. He, not much is really out there about him other than the fact he did later on get married. However,
did he get therapy?
Did not have. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did to the best that they could during that time. You know, we've come a long way in mental health since then, but him and his wife ended up adopting 2 children. Because he said, and I quote, I don't want to carry that gene onto anybody else. I'm afraid that that's a gene. And he really, truly believed that. So they adopted. I think he may have went back to Canada. I'm almost certain that he did, but there's not much about it. He didn't talk about what happened. He didn't want to talk about what happened. Mm-hmm. And that was all we know of Sanford. Oh. Interesting.
Shiva wanted red.
Anywho, now, the blood. Yes. Now, as far as Christine Collins, remember I told you she did sue LAPD for their negligence in her son's case.
Good. Yeah.
The sad part about Christine Collins is she was never paid. The good part to that, though, is remember Sergeant Jones that said just take him home and try him out for a little bit. He was fired and let go from the police department, as he should have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she never was paid, and she actively looked for her son till the day that she died, in the hopes that Walter was still alive. They have never linked, they've linked it, but they've never said for certain Gordon Northcott was responsible. But with everything that we just went over, there is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. He totally did that.
Absolutely.
To Walter.
Absolutely.
He did it.
But she never got her closure, and my little mom heart is just aching for her.
Mm-hmm. I know. And that's the story of the Chicken Coop murders.
So I've got to say, one, I feel like he's one of the worst ones we've done. Two, I'm so glad that he got the death penalty back in the day where it was. I hate this because I cannot stand murders, let alone murders to children. Because, these days it got more humane. They started getting
Right.
soft and sympathetic for these people. And I do understand that it constitutionally we have to um, be humane versus inhumane when it comes to that. But, and especially for, there are innocent people that get put on death row. And that, just so everybody's clear, that's why it takes so long. There's a whole process for them to be able to appeal and prove their case, because there are people who are guilty or not guilty that get this stuff and end up getting put to death. So they want to make it inhumane and stuff like that. But Jesus Christ, I wanted it to be more painful than what he got, let alone if he lived in today's day and age and just got lethal injection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did terrible things. He's a monster.
It's just, oh God,
And
he's gross.
I don't know why, and I know this sounds probably really cold, and I don't mean it in a cold way. I think because the timing, like in the 20s, that's what makes it even worse. Because it's like he was so far ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense in a dark, morbid way? But yeah. Do you have questions for the girls?
I've got so many. I was so into this case. It was ridiculous.
So now, before we turn on the spirit box part, I encourage you guys, if you have not watched Changeling, that has Angelina Jolie, she plays Christine Collins. I encourage you to watch that movie. It's very good. Now, I will tell you, it is a long movie. It's like 3 hours long.
And what's it on?
And there's a lot of things. I don't know. You could probably just look it up on Prime, Changeling. Now, there's a lot
Oh
of
God,
things
sorry.
that the movie does differently than what really happened. In the end of the movie, I'll spoil it for you. They try to
Up.
portray it that Walter ran away, and that's part of why Christine. That didn't happen. But it is a really good movie. The guy that plays Sanford Clark did incredible. It's wild. I encourage you all to watch it.
Oh yeah, they call
It.
Wineville Chicken Coop Murders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was made in. Is it a series?
Not that I'm aware of, unless there is a series. Changeling. The Changeling is what the movie's called.
Yeah, but IMDb is saying TV series 2023.
Oh.
Whether it's related or not, I don't know. But I'm trying to see what
It would have to be.
Hold on, let me.
Interesting.
There we go. Oh, 2008. It was made in 2008.
Yeah, the movie. It's an older movie.
Holy cow, Angelina Jolie looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely breathtaking.
She looks really similar. Like they dolled her up in a sense that she does kind of look very similar to what Christine Collins actually did look like.
So it looks like, unfortunately, to our viewers, this is not anywhere free, but not expensive. $3.99 if you really do have interest in watching it. YouTube, Apple, Fandango, Amazon, you can find them.
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies.
$4 for a 3-hour movie?
I mean, I get so into it, especially in the beginning, because they literally show it just like what we told her, bringing home this strange kid, and she knows that that's not her son, and you can't help it. Like you can feel her mother's anger, and it's like, oh, it's gut wrenching, and it's so worth it. I encourage you to watch it.
Ryan didn't put a picture on our filter because he had to have cute little chickens moving everywhere. I want to see what this guy looks like.
Oh, Gordon Northcott?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like a goober.
Or his freaking terrible ass mother. Let's see.
I don't know if there's any pictures of her.
You guys?
Yes.
He looks... No, he does. The first picture that came up, he looks evil as crap.
He is evil.
Oh my god. Terrible. Okay.
Yes. Yes. All right. Question time.
Questions. Bring on the girls.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
All right. Girls. Yeah. You can hear that. Yes. Can we ask you questions about Gordon Northcott? If you must, did you hear that?
Yeah, I
If you
heard. Yep,
must.
I know.
I know, he's awful. He's awful. So I think first and foremost, is Gordon Northcott responsible for the death of Walter Collins? Yes.
Okay. I wish his mother would have gotten
Yes.
closure.
Oh, go ahead.
I just really want to know, did did he oh my gosh, why am I blanking? There's too many names. Stanford. Did Sanford struggle after after all of this,
Aw.
getting
Yeah.
on with normal life?
Girls, did Sanford struggle getting on to a normal life after all this? He did. Did you hear that? He did.
Good.
That's so sad. I have a question. So I love it. They're like, what? Well, now I done forgot. What was I going to ask? Sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm like, crap, what was I going to ask? I just had a brain fart, and it was a really important question.
Do they think that it's a genetic thing to be like being like this?
Yeah, do you think that the Northcotts carried a sadistic gene? No.
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it is.
I think he was just pure evil. Would you say that Northcott was very evil? He is. Did you hear
Yeah.
that? He is. He is.
They were quick with it too.
Um, I was gonna. I can't believe I forgot what I was gonna ask. Oh, do you think that Gordon Northcott killed more people than what we know of? He did.
Oh, it had to have. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like Sanford was involved for like he didn't keep it secretive from him.
Mm-mm. I think that he did kill way more than what we know of.
I want to know what his dad thought or said or
Maybe his dad had died before all that came out. I'm
Hmm.
not entirely sure because he just kind of went in a.
Ugh.
Um, did Gordon have any remorse for anything that he did? No, that was really clear. No.
Did the parents of the brothers? I mean, did they get along better after getting closure of? I mean, at least they got closure.
Yeah, were the brothers' parents okay? Did they get the closure they needed? Yep.
I heard yes.
Yes.
Oh. Um. Oh, the family at the charity place. Did they did they realize? Did they ever
Oh
realize that they
yeah.
escaped?
Did the family from the charity place ever learn that Gordon Northcott was a serial killer? Yes.
No.
Yes.
I
I
couldn't
bet they
imagine
felt
being them.
relieved.
Yeah, couldn't imagine what they felt.
Yeah, they
Lord.
were. They were relieved.
Mm. Um, was he a necro? I gotta know.
Oh yeah. So was Gordon Northcott a necrophiliac? No.
Uh, I didn't get the vibe he was, but like
But
him.
he did. Gordon did unbury his victims, though, didn't
Yeah,
he?
that's weird.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's why I
Bury.
had to
Did you hear
ask.
that, bury?
Yeah, I just had to ask because I think it's weird that he unburied them. So, did you while you unburied them? So,
Right.
yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on Gordon Northcott? He's with Satan. Did you hear that?
I heard Satan. I didn't hear what they said beforehand. I'll have to play
It
this back.
said he's with Satan.
Oh, good. Getting a pineapple if that's
Good.
like Hitler.
He can't sit with us ever.
He can't sit with us.
Ever.
God, there was another question I was going to ask, and I
Did you
cannot.
hear me? No. They said
No.
we know. They said
Um,
we know.
God, we're terrible at forgetting what we were. I had a question until you said he can't sit with us, and then it just went right out the. I cannot. Oh, damn it. I can't. I can't remember. It's fine.
I do. I got another one. Did Louise feel any type of remorse? Yes.
And you just reminded me
I
of
think it's
mine.
only.
Did
Hmm.
Louise at any point in time have a thought of turning him in?
Yeah, did Louise ever have a thought of turning her son in? Yes.
I wonder if she battled with herself.
Did she battle with herself? Once. I heard once.
And then obviously went the wrong direction.
I
Ooh, why did I just hear, are you being weird?
don't
It was
know
in that voice that just. It was weird. It
that
was
we're
like.
being weird.
It said, it either said, why are you being weird? Or they were being weird. Like in that tone. That was weird.
I love them. They crack me up. I
I
just love you guys. You know that.
think.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said yes.
Oh. I think that's all
I
I
know.
got.
Thank you, girls, for
Thank you,
answering our
ladies.
questions. Yes, ma'am. They said yes, ma'am.
Oh, so proper.
I know. They don't always do that.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
not always that prim and proper.
No. They're probably just done with this
Yeah.
conversation.
They're like, we don't like him. He's
You can ask
gross. He
questions
is
if you want
gross.
to.
He
It's
is
fine.
very, very gross. But yeah, so that's the tale of Gordon Northcott.
I hate him. I hate him
I
so
know.
much. I've never heard
He's
of him.
awful.
Man, that sent me through a
Now
freaking hoop.
you can watch all the movies you want, Ashley. I
Okay.
want you to watch Changeling.
I will. I definitely
You
will.
should get Ryan to watch it because Ryan hates pedophiles like so much. I need him to watch this.
I Nobody hates true crime. I don't know.
I
Especially with it being 3 hours.
It's like a 3 hour long
Good
movie, but it's
lord.
so good.
We've
I
got
think he
a
would really, really like it.
we got a movie site where we can try to find it if it's on there, but we'll see.
Yes. Clint Eastwood is the one that directed it.
Stop! That might get him. That might get him. He
Yes.
loves watching movies he directs.
Clint
Oh,
Eastwood.
I bet that's good. You guys, Clint Eastwood is an amazing director.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta watch it.
Gran Torino.
You gotta watch
Come
it.
on. Yeah, and there's more, trust me. But yeah, he's fantastic. Oh, The Mule. Freaking amazing.
Absolutely.
I'm going to watch it. You guys all
Absolutely.
have to watch it.
Yes, it's great. And we want to know what you think of it. But all right, Ash, what do they need to do?
They need to find us on most social media platforms. Give us a like and follow. Find us on Spotify if you like to listen. If you like to listen and watch, find us on YouTube.
All right. Bye, doll babies.
Bye, guys.